What's up, Guardians, and welcome back, Warlocks. School's back in session today as we dive into a powerful new Voidwalker build that's dominating the endgame of Destiny right now. This top tier build will be perfect to get you through legendary missions, lost sectors, dungeons, Grandmaster Nightfalls, or even raids. Prismatic builds are pretty popular right now, and for the most part, they're pretty efficient. But there's a lot of advantages that you'll have when running standard subclasses, especially because of the new artifact mods that the Hunter's Journal provides. Between these new artifact mods and several changes to the current sandbox, the Contraverse Hold exotic Gauntlets have re-emerged as a leading contributor to Voidwalker dominance within PVE content. With this build, you'll be able to weaken enemies, increasing your overall damage output. You'll also have rapid regeneration of your vortex grenades and other abilities, including your super, and will also be able to give our void weapons some extra juice to help clear through those waves of enemies much faster. This exotic comes with the chaotic exchanger intrinsic trait. This offers several significant benefits when using vortex grenades in combination with the chaos accelerant aspect. Chaos Accelerant is going to increase the effectiveness of any of our void grenades, but when used with vortex grenades, it extends the duration of the vortex by an extra 2.5 seconds, which allows us to deal a significant amount of extra damage. The total base damage will increase from 990 points up to 1380 points. It also increases the radius in which the vortex will pull in enemies, which is going to result in more enemies becoming affected by the vortex. When charging vortex grenades, you'll activate a 20% damage resistance buff. This will last for as long as you're charging your grenade, which can be held indefinitely. Once you've thrown your grenade and it strikes an enemy, you'll trigger the chaotic exchange buff. This will provide a 2000% increase to the regeneration rate of your grenade energy. Now this only lasts for about 2 seconds, but within that time frame, you'll gain around 30 to 40% of your grenade energy back. Chaotic Exchanger does have a 4-second cooldown on that bonus grenade energy, but by the time your next grenade is ready to throw, you'll be able to re-engage that bonus. Because we are using the Feed the Void aspect, we will be able to trigger Devour whenever we defeat an enemy with our Vortex Grenades or any of our other Void abilities. When Devour is active, every final blow will extend Devour, while providing us with full health restoration and bonus grenade energy. We'll gain 7.5% energy off of each rank and file enemy, and as much as 20% off of high-ranking enemies like champions and mini-bosses. The bonus energy provided by the Contraverse Hold will stack on top of the energy that Devour provides, which will see us getting our grenades back lightning fast, which is perfect for a grenade-centric build. To maximize the effectiveness of our vortex grenades, we are using the Echo of Remnants and Undermining. Remnants will increase the duration of our vortex grenades by 55%, which causes those grenades to last 9 seconds, allowing us to deal even more damage to our enemies. And because of Echo of Undermining, those grenades are going to apply weakening effects. Weakened enemies have a 20% reduction in movement speed, and they'll take 15% extra damage from any source. Thanks to the addition of the Expanding Abyss artifact mod, any source of void damage will deal 25% bonus damage instead of 15%, which will make our vortex grenades, our pocket singularity, our super, and all of our void weapons become much more powerful. To further amplify the effectiveness of these vortex grenades, we are using the Echo of Instability and Echo of Harvest fragments. Echo of Harvest will generate orbs of light and void breaches whenever defeating weakened enemies. Every orb will grant 2.5% bonus super energy, and each void breach is going to grant 12.5% bonus class ability energy, allowing us to cast our healing or empowering rift much more often. I do find healing rifts to be the most beneficial on a survival standpoint, but since we will have Devour active, we could make use of the 20% bonus weapon and ability damage that we'll have when standing in an empowering rift. We are using the Void Hegemony artifact mod, so whenever we defeat weakened enemies, we will gain a 15-point overshield, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it does stack, providing us with as much as a 100 point overshield, which does give us even more reason to use an Empowering Rift, but ultimately it'll depend on how well you're able to stay alive. Because of Echo of Instability, whenever we defeat enemies with our Vortex Grenades, our Void weapons will gain volatile rounds. Enemies who are volatile will trigger Void Explosions as they take additional damage. Volatile explosions do count as Void abilities, which could trigger Devour if it's not already active. Void weapons will retain volatile rounds for 11 seconds, and when active, they'll be able to pierce barrier shields. We have 3 super options to choose from with this build, and each of them have unique benefits. We have the Cataclysm Nova Bomb, the Vortex Nova Bomb, and Nova Warp. Nova Bombs are great for boss damage, but the Nova Warp will surprise you with its 24-second duration and 90% damage resistance, making it a perfect option to use for ad clear purposes. With our class tree selections addressed, let's go ahead and take a further look into our new artifact. We've covered 2 of our active mods already, Void Hegemony and Expanding Abyss, but we're also using Shield Crush, Elemental Siphon, and Counter Energy. Counter Energy will help us regain bonus ability energy whenever stunning champions. That's going to provide 25% bonus energy to the least charged ability, and it's going to happen every time a champion is stunned. Elemental Siphon will generate bonus Void Breaches whenever using kinetic or void weapons, allowing us to cast our healing or empowering rifts much more often. And Shield Crush is going to give us an increase to the regeneration rate and the damage of our Pocket Singularity whenever we have a Void Overshield active, which is going to work hand in hand with Void Hegemony. This will give us a 25% increase to both the regeneration rate and the damage of that powered melee. There's a few other artifact mods that will provide some situational benefits for us, but it's going to be based on our choice in weapon loadouts. If we're using stasis weapons, we could use the Creeping Chill mod, so that when we defeat frozen or slowed enemies, a burst of slowing effects will be applied to any nearby enemy. This would be a great mod to use when running stasis weapons like the Aegir's Scepter or the Riptide Fusion Rifle. When using swords like the Fallen Guillotine, we can use Blade Stamina and Argent Blade to give us bonus ammo and bonus sword damage. We even have the option of the Overload Sword mod, which would give any sword the ability to stun Overload champions. And finally, there's Solar Fulmination, which causes ignitions to trigger twice instead of just once, which does increase how much damage they deal. This would be a great mod to use with the Dragon's Breath, but I really like the synergy that Solar Fulmination and Creeping Chill have with the Conditional Finality shotgun. This raid exotic freezes enemies with one of its shots, and it ignites them with the other, allowing this weapon to reap the benefits of both of these artifact mods. And it would still leave us open to use 2 void weapons in our special and heavy slots. With weapons in mind, let's go ahead and take a detour into our weapon loadouts. There's a few select exotic void weapons that I really like using with this build, like the Graviton Lance, Luminarch, and Collective Obligation. Even the Manticore and Vexcalibur have the ability to excel with this build, but there's also the Leviathan's Breath, the Two-Tailed Fox, and the Heart Shadow that would all be great options. The Buried Bloodline Rocket Sidearm deals an incredible amount of damage, and it would give us a secondary source of triggering Devour, and it even weakens enemies. When it comes to legendary void weapons, the ones with Repulsor Brace or Destabilizing Rounds will have the best synergy. Repulsor Brace gives us another source of gaining a Void Overshield, which will stack on top of what Void Hegemony is going to provide for us. And Destabilizing Rounds causes enemies to become volatile, which is going to help us deal even more area damage. Weapons with Demolitionist would also be extremely beneficial since they automatically reload the weapon when throwing a grenade. Plus they generate between 10 and 20% extra grenade energy on each final blow, which would significantly improve the uptime of our Vortex grenades. Some of the best Void legendary weapons that I would recommend using would be the Ross Arago, the Commemoration, the Basso Ostinato, the Braytech Osprey, the Retrofit Escapade, the Edge Transit, the Vowshafe, or the Recluse. With our class tree, artifact, and weapon loadouts addressed, let's move on to our armor. When it comes to the main character stats to focus on, Resilience will be the big one. This reduces incoming damage by as much as 30% whenever at tier 10. Recovery would also be a prime stat to focus on, since it improves how quickly our health begins to regenerate, and it also decreases the cooldown time of our class ability. Since we've already got so much grenade energy getting dispersed between Contraverse Hold and Devour, having tier 10 discipline isn't going to be as much of a necessity, but it's still going to be beneficial to reduce the base cooldown time of our grenades. When it comes to our selection of armor mods, our main goal is to be cohesive with our class tree options. So we're using Siphon, Firepower, and Reaper to generate additional orbs. This way we'll gain our super energy back faster, but we'll also be able to gain armor charges. And with those armor charges, we can do one of two things. We could amplify our grenade production by using Grenade Kickstart, which would convert those armor charges into grenade energy, giving us as much as 30% bonus grenade energy after throwing a grenade. And having mods like Elemental Charge, Stacks on Stacks, or Charged Up would improve the effectiveness of Grenade Kickstart. If you need your own kickstart to keep you awake and alert in those late night hours of grinding, then be sure to check out the amazing supplement drinks provided by Advanced GG. These are specially designed for gamers, and with the use of my promo code, you'll get a 10% discount on your next purchase. So be sure to check out the link that's down in the description below. I don't find Grenade Kickstart to be as beneficial on this build as it might be on others, which is why I find Weapon Surge mods to be a much better fit. This way we can have between a 10 and 17% bonus in weapon damage, which would be stacked on top of the 20% bonus damage that Empowering Rifts would provide. In the end, it depends on what activity you're in. Some activities you need that bonus damage, but others you need the bonus ability energy. With all the bonus ability regeneration, damage resistance, health recovery, and bonus damage that this build provides, you'll be dominating every engagement that you find yourself in, making this a perfect build to use in legendary campaigns, dungeons, raids, grandmasters, you name it. So if you haven't used the Contraverse Hold, or you just haven't used them in a very long time, then it's about damn time that you pull them out and watch yourself terrorize your opponents with extreme chaos. With that said, that brings us full circle on this amazing Voidwalker build. If you need help putting this build together for yourself, then be sure to check out the Mobalytics link that's down in the description, where you'll find this and a ton of other great in-game builds. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this chaotic build, the current state of Warlocks, and the current state of Destiny. Let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, then don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more great Destiny 2 content. If you're a new Light Guardian, just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran, just looking for a new place to call home, then be sure to check out the Discord link that's down in the description, and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.